G'day guys, goeiedag, my name is Wildkard. Thank you for watching the Wildkard Rugby Show. Like, comment, and subscribe. And yes, you are here today because the reigning, the defending, the undisputed, the world champions, and the number 2 ranked team in the world, the mighty Springboks, will be playing against the Argentinians, the Los Pumas, this weekend for the undisputed title of the Rugby Championship. And yes, it is unfortunate that the Springboks lost the number 1 ranking last week. The two teams have such a huge gap. Despite the fact that Argentina was at home, the Springboks lost 1.8 points, almost 2 points in the Rugby World Rankings. And like normally, half a point is a pretty big jump in ranking systems. For losing 1.8 points, it's an absolutely monumental jump in points exchange for that match last week. And it is a little bit unfortunate for the Springboks. They do have an opportunity this weekend to regain the number 1 rank in the world, but they need to beat Argentina by a pretty substantial margin, by more than 15 points. They need to beat Argentina by more than 15 points to actually retain the number 1 ranking. If they beat by less than 15 points, let's say 14, they're not gonna only going to earn like a quarter of a point, and that's not going to be enough to overtake Ireland to regain the number 1 ranking. Yeah, so it's a pretty big task for the Springboks to try to get the number 1 ranking back. And some of you guys saying, oh, the ranking doesn't really matter. It actually kind of does, because in the Rugby World Cup, should there be a draw in the pool stage, across the board, a draw between the two teams, draw for score, tries, everything is a draw. The final decider of who makes out of the pool is the Rugby World Rankings. Yeah, it's very long shot, but it's not completely irrelevant. So yes, and the Rugby World Rankings gives people like me something to talk about, and I think it is something for everybody to talk about. Just a bit of a more entertainment to all of our lives. Now, the task ahead, the Rugby Championship, it's pretty much won by the Springboks at this stage. The Springboks are currently leading the pack 19 points to 14 in the overall points, and Argentina not only have to deny the Springboks a bonus point this weekend, they have to also score a bonus point themselves, which means they have to score more than 3 tries. Yes, more than 3 tries over the Springboks is the law for the Rugby Championship. Unlike the Northerners in the Six Nations, you just have to score 4 tries. Alright, so in the Northern teams, it's actually easier for Argentina. They just have to score 4 tries and then make sure that the Springboks don't finish within 7. But this game, they have to score more than 3 tries to actually get a bonus point, which I think is a stupid system. More than 3 tries is just like way too much. You're either gonna blow out a team that's way worse than you, or you're just gonna, forget about scoring tries altogether, bonus point altogether. So it's kind of irrelevant in that sense of the way that it's being accumulated. But hey, Argentina has a big task ahead, but it's mathematically possible, but it's very difficult. And in the case, if Argentina achieves the 5 points and the Springboks denies a bonus point, both teams finish on 19 points apiece, Argentina will win the Rugby Championship, because on the head-on-head, they have beaten the Springboks twice, which means they will rank ahead of the Springboks, despite having a difference in Springboks might have a better point differential overall. So yeah, it is not impossible, but it's extremely tough for Argentina. Both teams have a big challenge ahead of them. The Springboks will be regaining the Rugby Championship for the first time since 2019. And yeah, despite all the hate towards Mr. Ian Foster, the Springboks has never won the Rugby Championship or any trophy from the All Blacks under Mr. Ian Foster. So this will be the first time since 2019. When it comes to Argentina playing against the Springboks, they have beaten the Springboks once before in South Africa, and that was at where was it? 2016. Yeah. Where did they won? 2015. It was at Kings Park, Durban. They did actually beat for the first time and only time the Springboks in South Africa, and that was in 2015. So yeah, it's not impossible, but it's gonna be very difficult for them to try to win that. This weekend in Mbombela, in the town, is a township you guys call it down there, or whatever you call it, right? And then, like I said, it's always sunny when the Springboks plays with the Rugby. Apparently, it's gonna be raining on Monday, and it's gonna be 37 degrees on Sunday. Oh boy! Hopefully, you guys, got electricity to keep the air conditioning running, because man, that is brutal. 37 degrees on Sunday and overcast as well. Could be very humid and but yeah, rugby on Saturday evening, 26 degrees. Yeah, it's gonna be hot. It's still gonna be quite hot even in evening after the sun goes down. And last week we saw the heat kind of affecting both teams. I think that maybe Argentina worked out a little bit better. It is definitely better than last week in Argentina, where it was 38 degrees, 37 degrees. So definitely cooler than that, but it's still quite brutal heat for both him. I think in South Africa, some of you guys were telling me it's dry heat in South Africa, so he doesn't quite feel as bad, but it looks like it's going to be pretty humid for this one, 40. So yeah, it's going to be a bit humid for this one. So yeah, we'll have to see how that's going to pull up for either teams this weekend. And the referee on the field is Mr. Ben O'Keefe, the most popular Kiwi in South Africa, right? Everybody knows what I'm talking about. Oh, yes, you guys. Hopefully you guys send a lot of flower baskets to his way after the Rugby World Cup. That's a lot of the Northerners. Felt like he was very, very kind to some of the penalties, like have hands on the ground sort of stuff towards Kwagga Smith in multiple matches. And yeah, but I think Ben O'Keefe did a great job in the Rugby World Cup, to be fair. At least he was very consistent across all the games. And I think that it's, you know, it's the way that he's very clear and concise. And yeah, he's the best referee in New Zealand, and it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be fair and balanced. I don't think he'll particularly benefit any side when it comes to this contest. It's Ben O'Keefe, and he actually adjusts his referee a little bit. Depends on which part of the world he's refereeing. If he's in the Southern Hemisphere teams, he's more of a Super Rugby style, like a little bit looser in the course. Whereas when he does referee the Northern Hemisphere teams, he's actually much tighter and stricter and follows the Northern Hemisphere style a little bit more closely when he does work in that regard. So that's he is adapting to who's on the field as well. So obviously the scrum interpretation is going to be a big part going into this weekend's game. So here are the people that are going to be. So we're going to have here are the people that's going to be representing the two nations this weekend. So let's have a look at a number of changes for both sides as well. Springboks made 10 changes. The Argentinians also made 8 changes themselves. So both teams has reshuffled up the team. The Argentinians has really loaded up their bench, to try to match up the Springboks bomb squad coming off the second half to try to finish off the game. I thought the Argentinians did fine without dealing with the bomb squad in the second half. Like they didn't really, they didn't win the game in the second half despite the bomb squad. But Argentinians have definitely identified the Springboks when they go back to that show, backing themselves on that set piece, having Eben Nesmith doing those tight works around the lineouts. It's going to be very, very difficult. Eben Nesmith is starting, and so yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Argentina is going to go. But Argentina has opted not only for Pablo Tierra to coming off the bench, but they have a pretty big. They have pretty big finishers coming. Also, they've opted for more experience in the backline as well in Lucio Senti and Juan Cruz Malia to come off the bench. So the Argentinians has definitely put a bit much more emphasis in the backline and in reserve rather. And we shall see how that's going to match up with the Springboks bomb squad this weekend. So let's have a look at who's got the privilege to represent their nation this weekend. Coming in number 1 position, Ox Nche. At number 2, Bungi Bunabi comes in ahead of Malcolm Marx, moves down to the bench. And Frausma Herba also gets acted into the team at number 3 jersey for the mighty Springboks. Ahead of Stinnekau. No, it was Thomas Tutoy last week. I believe it was. It was Thomas Tutoy last week at a number 3 jersey. For the Argentinians, Thomas Gaggio, he's really going to have a lot of work this week. Last week, I think he got away with it against Thomas Dutoy. But this week, Herbert's going to pretty much eat him alive. I feel like it's going to be another massive battle for him. Julian Montoya comes in number 2, and Joe Scalvi moves in for number 3 in the Los Pumas. Unchanged. I thought Scalvi was also under a tremendous amount of pressure from Ox Nche as well last week. So the scrum is something that the Argentinians going to be really quite a big concern for them going into this week. Coming in the lock positions now, we got Eben Nesmith, his historic 128th match, I think this was this weekend, breaking the record of his dad. What's his name? Victor Matfield, right? So historic moment for Eben Nesmith, probably the best lock ever. Not best lock ever, best lock ever in the Springboks. I don't know. He might get close to Sam Whitelock. I think Whitelock's probably the best lock ever. Eben Nesmith is going to get up there. He's still got a nice few years ahead of him, at least to deliver for the Rainbow Nation. Coming in number 5 now, Ruan Nokia has become more and more a consistent player now for the Springboks in the locking position. For the Argentinians, Pedro Rubiolo comes in number 4. He replaces Franco Molia. And also number 5 has been changed as well. Thomas Lavanini, who's been a bit of a penalty, kind of gives him a very big penalty at times. But he's the more experienced player for the Argentinians. Comes in number 5. He replaces... so he pushes Rubiolo from 5 to number 4. In the loose forward battle now this weekend, another huge carry area for both teams. The penalties is all going to be very, very important. And it comes to the goal kicking as well when it goes down to the goal kicking as well. So Sia Khaleesi, the captain, returns to number 6 jersey. Martin Gonzalez takes the number 6 jersey ahead of Pablo Montero, who's moved down to the bench. Pablo has been absolutely exceptional for the Argentinians. Peter Step Dutoy comes in number 7 for the Springboks. Santiago Gondona comes in at number 7, and he replaces Marcos Crema, who's injured. Finally, number 8, unchanged for the Springboks, Jasper Visa, and the Argentinians, Sam from last week, Joaquin Oviedo comes in for the number 8 jersey. In the backline now, number of changes again for both teams. And it's really interesting how this is going to go. So Jaden Hendrickson comes in number 9 ahead of Cobus Reinhardt this week. Gonzalo Jesus Garcia comes in number 9. He also moves up from the bench ahead of Bertrano, who's the more experienced number 9. And number 10, Man in the Bock, gets a chance to redeem himself. Razi Erasmus has decided to, not just kick the player out on the curb because they failed to kick a penalty goal and costing the team again, has decided to address the issue as more of a team problem, which I do agree, than just an individual kicking issue. I think that is exactly how you were to go about it, about building morale for the team, not having everyone pointing fingers at any individual. So Man in the Box is going to have a really, big opportunity to redeem himself this week. Thomas Albornoz once again gets the start this week. Again, he has delivered for Argentina big time since the flogging against the Wallabies a few weeks ago, and he's now once again getting the 10 jersey ahead of Carreras at the number 10 spot. Number 11, Kurti Adensa for the Springboks, getting ahead of Makazula Mapimpi. Number 11, Matius Carrera, unchanged for the Argentinians. Number 12, Demi Delenda comes in for Lucanio Arm. Number 13, unchanged, the no day off, Mr. No Day Off, Jesse Krill for the Springboks. Again, the defense, the physicality is going to be the emphasis here in the midfield battle. Argentina has opted for one change in the midfield battle. Santiago Chocobares retains the number 12 jersey, but at number 13, they have came in with a more experienced guy at Matias Moroni, with the guy that has been delivering a lot of good results so far for Argentina, Lucio Cinti, being moved down to the bench as the impact player coming off the bench to finish off the match. And finally, number 14, Cheslin Kobe for the Springboks. He's replaced Kurti Adensa, who obviously moves to 11. And finally, for the Argentinians, a change in number 14 as Real Rodrigo Isco comes in for Batista Del Goy. And finally, the number 15, Apalela Fase retains for the Argentinians. And Santiago Carreras gets number 15 jersey, back to number 15 jersey. This is the position that he played, I think it was in 2020, before 2020, I think it was the last time he played number 15 for Argentina. It's a number of years. He started his career in the number 15 jersey, and then there was, the injury to obviously Sanchez, and he has then opened the door for him to play at number 10, and he has been number 10 since like literally 2020. So he's back at 15 jersey. This is I'm pretty sure this is he hasn't played 15 at least at the national level in the starting position for 3-4 years now. Let me know if that's incorrect. I'm pretty sure that that is correct for Santiago Carreras. And interesting change for Felipe Contepomi there. In the bomb squad on the reserves now, Malcolm Marks coming in number 16. Gerga Stinekamp comes in number 17. Vincent Koch comes in number 18. And for the Argentinians, Ignacio Ruiz, number 16. Number 17, Ignacio Calles. And number 17, Pedro Delgado. He, winning your first debut match last week against the Springboks is a pretty good feeling, I suppose. He gets that number 18 jersey. Coming at number 19 now, Alreich Low for the Springboks, and Franco Molia retains the number 19 jersey for Argentina. Wildkard Smith comes in number 20, the bomb squad member. And again, the Springboks has opted 5-3 split on the bench, have more emphasis in the backline. Argentina has opted to match Wildkard with Pablo Matera, who's been just so impactful for Argentinians. And I'm really excited to see how this is going to go. Is Pablo going to just come on and just completely dominate the breakdowns and bring that physicality? Yeah, this is a very, very interesting to see. And for the reserve halfbacks, Cobus Reinach for the Springboks, but Bertrano Bazanvelas, Lutraro Bazanvelas comes in for number 21 for Argentina. Number 22, Henry Pollard for the Springboks for the goal kicking. And Argentina, number 22, Lucio Senti, an additional center. And finally, Lucamio Arm, the Springboks basically opted for 2 centers, essentially. So Pollard obviously can play 10 and center as well. Lucamio Arm can play center and winger as well. So potentially you can have 2 centers completely replacing the current centers this weekend. But I think Pollard probably be at 10 this week. And finally, Juan Cruz Matlia, another fullback for the Argentinians to round off the team. So obviously the goal kicking is going to be a big question in the starting team. There were some of you guys saying that Cheslin and Kobe would do the goal kicking for the Springboks in the first half. I think that Mana Lubok will do the goal kicking, to be honest. I think that the coaches want him to hone that skill and get a bit better in that regards. I think that is very unlikely Cheslin and Kobe would do the goal kicking. Unless Lubok is struggling once again, they might give it to Kobe. But I think that Lubok is going to have an opportunity to redeem himself with the goal kicking and not get dropped from that duty. In second half, obviously, Paulo will do the goal kicking there. But, my predictions, I think that the Springboks will win this one. I think this will be a close game. I think the Springboks will win this one 18 points to 15. Just by one goal. One final kick will determine the difference between the two sides. And, big dominance in the scrum, penalty. And then Springboks, Henry Pollard kicks this one 45, 50 meters out. Yeah, let me know your thoughts, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. And thanks for watching this video. Check out my website and let me know if there's anything anything you think about the lineup. And good luck this weekend. And I'll see you guys for the reviews. Have a good one. Cheers.